One of the things that used to blow my mind was the number of people who found themselves in the position of needing to relocate, but not telling anybody anything. And I can tell you, when I used to practice law, it used to drive me nuts to have that situation happen. Not because I needed my client to tell me everything that they're doing, but in this instance, I'm representing them in their case. I would kind of like to know if they're getting ready to leave the area. It's that because sometimes what would end up happening is that I'd have clients who relocate and they would literally be in a new location for months. And then all of a sudden, you call them and of course they're like, well, that just means you haven't been paying attention to what's going on with me. And I have to pause for a second and say, listen, how would I know you were gonna leave? How was I gonna know that you were gonna move unless you gave me some inclination that that was going to happen? Now, let's just be real. If you have representation and you haven't heard from your counselor in a while, there's probably this natural belief that, they ain't following up with me, so obviously they don't care about my case. I can't speak for every representative, but I can say that in some cases take a long time. If you're in civil court or if you're in a particular type of unique court, like an administrative type of court, like workers' comp and stuff like that, sometimes there are gaps in those time periods when there's not a lot going on. Meaning maybe there's some discovery that's done, or maybe we're waiting for an order for the judge on a particular thing. Maybe there's some mediation that's about to come up. Sometimes what happens is that people get caught up in the fact that they want things to happen so quickly that they don't realize the legal process takes a while. So, and not just the legal process. If you are utilizing different systems, like if you're going to get food stamps, if you're using public housing, if you're using cash assistance, you moving may have an impact on those things. So what I tell people is that when you find yourself in a position where you know that you're gonna move or you're giving serious thought to moving, start thinking about not just people in your personal circle, but in your professional circle in terms of different things that you have going so that you can let them know that that's what you're thinking about doing. And most importantly, so that they can start researching or providing you guidance to let you know what impact you moving is gonna have on your circumstances. This is even more crucial because you want to be in a position where you can make as many informed decisions as possible about how you moving may impact your case, or how you moving may impact the services you receive, or how you moving may change in terms of getting you familiar with what reality may be in terms of what you have access to locally, in terms of what may be accessible to you where you're going to. Trust me, the last thing you want to have is a situation where you now have relocated and you find out that you've jacked up a whole bunch of things, but the reality is that if had you just said something, people could have told you how to make the move without it causing as much stress in your life. So if you're thinking about moving, just keep in mind that if you have different things that are going on, if you utilize different services, if there are certain things that are moving that requires you, find out in terms of who those people are that you need to let know about it, and find out from asking them, what impact is it going to have with you moving? So this way, when you make the transition, it's a lot smoother and not as traumatic as you think it might be.